Unsealed court documents, broken bones in his neck, prison guards who won't check security cameras with broken address books, 1,000 names in the address book, still sealed.
Think Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself? Well, you're wrong. He killed himself, people, and that's a fact. It's what we're told to believe, so you should believe it. New York State officials ruled his death a suicide by hanging. Now, I'll prove to you why we can definitely trust them, but first consider this. There's a strong precedence in history of powerful people killing themselves when even more powerful people have their agendas threatened, like when JFK killed himself. And then Lee Harvey Oswald, who didn't kill JFK, killed himself. And Martin Luther King killed himself. And here's a sketch of when President Lincoln committed suicide. Did powerful people who stood to lose all their money, status, and power, as well as be locked in prison for the rest of their lives, want Epstein dead? Absolutely not.
Nuclear warheads, the weapons of mass destruction, and missiles are on the Lord's band, and pointed at every nation. Time gets shorter. Crates of guns and ammo from country to country they go.
Oh boy. Breaking news. The judge who was assigned to the Deutsche Bank case involving Jeffrey Epstein just had her son killed and her husband shot in their own home.
You can see behind me that the house is taped off with crime scene tape. We know the FBI and the U.S. Marshals have been in here overnight processing this scene of a shooting that happened here at U.S. District Judge Esther Sal's home, where her son was shot dead. Her husband also shot, and multiple reports. So the son opened the door. Somebody rang the bell around 5 o'clock. Someone dressed in a FedEx uniform and just started firing. Shot the husband as well. Probably the question here is, what was the motive? Was this connected to Judge Salas's work? We know that she was set to preside over a class action lawsuit that was just filed against Bank. It claims it failed to properly monitor several high-risk customer accounts, including one for convicted sex offender Epstein. The lawsuit was just last Wednesday. We don't know what, if any, connection there may be. We do know that she was a case to this case.
All right, so from July 7th, Deutsche Bank maintained accounts for Jeffrey Epstein despite red flags. The bank has agreed to pay $150 million in penalties. Deutsche Bank maintained its relationship with disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein despite multiple suspicious transactions and red flags that could have been related to his alleged sex trafficking operation. New York State's Department of Financial Services announced Tuesday. This was July 7th. This report came out from ABC News. In a report detailing the conclusions of an investigation into the bank's handling of Epstein's accounts from his onboarding in 2013 until his departure in 2018. Regulators said Deutsche Bank processed hundreds of transactions totaling millions of dollars that should have raised particular concern in light of Jeff Epstein's well-publicized history of criminal sexual misconduct. Details that could prompt further investigation into allegations Epstein ran a sex trafficking ring. Those transactions identified by the state regulators included payments to individuals who have been publicly accused in lawsuits filed by Epstein's alleged victims to have played a role in enabling the sexual abuse of young women. Payments totaling $7 million to law firms for what appear to be settlements, as well as payments totaling over $6 million to law firms for what appear to be legal expenses for Epstein and his alleged co-conspirators. The payments to Russian models and other women with Eastern European surnames to cover hotel expenses, tuition, and rent. Whether or to what extension those payments or that cash was used by Epstein to cover up old crimes, to facilitate new ones or for some other purposes are questions that must be left to the criminal authorities. But the fact that they were suspicious should have been obvious to the bank personnel at various levels. The bank's failure to recognize this risk constitutes a major compliance failure. And also, look at that ugly bastard. And they said they acknowledge it. I don't think this really has to do with the Deutsche Bank. I think it has more to do with the names that are going to come out because of it. Finish this up.
North Brunswick, Mac Womack responding in a tweet last night saying no words can express the sadness and loss we share as a community. Governor Murphy releasing a statement that reads in part, this tragedy.
Good job, Murphy. No wonder your state's a piece of shit. You're using this tragedy to push gun control still? What a fucking tool. Give it the smack. Smack it right now. What a fucking tool.
Tragedy is our latest reminder that gun violence remains a crisis in our country and that our work to make every community safer is not done. A neighbor spoke last night about Salas's son, Daniel, who was killed.
When my grandson would come to visit from California, he's the same age as Daniel. He spent a lot of time with them. I take them to New York. Then when they came to California, they took my grandson out. So the kids remained friends. But this is an absolute shock.
The FBI is looking for one suspect and ask anyone with information to call the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office. That number posts now on my Pix 11 Facebook page. We do expect to speak to the mayor later on this morning, and we'll bring you any new details as we receive them. Live this morning in North Brunswick, New Jersey, I'm Katie Corrado, Pix 11 News.
A gunman dressed as a delivery driver shot and killed the son of a federal judge and wounded her husband at their New Jersey home on Sunday. U.S. District Judge Esther Salas was not injured in the shooting. From what I heard, she was in the basement. The gunman showed up to Salas's home in North Brunswick, New Jersey, wearing an outfit described to police as a FedEx uniform. Both Mark Andrell, 63, a defense attorney, and a former Essex County prosecutor, and Daniel Andrell, 20, a student at Catholic University in D.C., were shot after one of them opened the door for the gunman around 5 p.m. He was shot through the heart. New Brunswick Mayor Francis Mac Womack told ABC News of Daniel, the son. Salas's son died, and her husband was rushed to the hospital for surgery. Mark Andrell is now in stable condition. The FBI has said it is looking for one suspect. The Marshal Service said it is also investigating, adding in a statement to the HuffPost that the agency is responsible for the protection of a federal judge or federal judicial officials, and we are taking the responsibility very seriously. So, 63-year-old husband, 20-year-old son. She's 51. She's the first Hispanic woman to ever serve on a U.S. district court as a district court judge. She was nominated by Obama. This is something else, boy. This is something else. I truly hope her husband pulls through. Not only just because I want him to live. Not only because I want him to live. I want to see him. I want to see if he got a description of the guy or anything like that, and see if there's some surveillance cameras around the neighborhood that maybe have picked some stuff up. Also, I'm praying for this guy to live, and I feel bad for her son. I feel bad for her. Anybody still think Jeffrey Epstein killed himself? For real? For real? for real people. This is nuts. This is nuts. Well, you know, the husband was a prosecutor. I don't know. My thoughts, they're spinning all over the place right now. But it could have had something to do with that, but I doubt it. Just a big coincidence that Judge Salas just got assigned this case 4 days ago. 4 days ago, and now all of a sudden people are shooting at her. Yeah, it's just a coincidence. But I don't know. Nobody has anything on this yet, so it just happened. So we'll keep an eye on it, see what happens for later on. All right. So, see ya. Love ya.